Okay. This is going to be a political video, you can say. We get a lot of viewers that are haters and a lot of viewers that are supporters of catch and release or catch and eat. So, I think I'm just going to try to cover that. Because catch and eat is CNE, catch and release is CNR. And this pertains to, I'm just going to cover the entire spectrum of just fishing, okay? So, there are the guys that catch and eat, like I do. And there's a lot of guys that catch and release, like I do, okay? But there's a lot of people that just say, you should always catch and release. And there's a lot of people that say, you should always catch and eat. Okay, so, alright, think about that. Okay, I think it really depends on where you grew up, okay? But I think a lot of the people that really try to enforce the rules that are not rules, because let's say that again. Some people want you to release every single fish because they want it. It's a sport to them. So if you say there's 5 fish in a pond and you caught all of them, there's no more fish in the pond. But for him, if it's 5 fish in a pond, he'll still catch them like every other day. It's fun for him. But I think it really comes from like a financial background. Like I think that's really where the big thing is. And that kind of, for me, that's really where I'm going to come in from this point of view is, okay, you go fishing, it's fun, but at the same time, you can bring fish home. It becomes dinner for 2 days. So why not? Okay. The other thing is, you don't spend $600 on a fishing rod setup and catch and release fish. That $600 makes it much more effective for you to catch fish versus the next guy in line who's catching fish. So, more expensive rods, had to pay for a license. I want to bring home some fish. That's my CNE side, okay? The CNR side is kind of okay, it took how long for that fish to grow? And from my point of view, you know, at that size is probably when it's going to be its best spawning like potential is at that size. Or better yet, if it's a giant fish. For bass, it might be a 10-pounder. For stripers, it might be a 30-pounder, okay? Once it hits that age, it's pretty rare for a fish to get that size. So genetically, it is a big fish. So you would rather have that fish spawn than a small fish, okay? Some people understand, some people don't. Well, for the CNE guy, the bigger the fish, the better. Because due to regulations, maybe you can only have 2 fish. Maybe the minimum's 34 inches long. So that guy's just gonna keep it. But for the entertainment guy, the CNR guy, he's just gonna catch and release him anyway. It doesn't matter to him. So it really, I don't know. It goes both ways. But I like to know what everybody's thinking about this subject because it's a subject that on every fishing forum you go to, there's going to be guys that are like hardcore, you know, you took a picture of the fish and you put it on a stringer and they're all, you should have released it. You should have released it. Next time you got to release. Next time you got to release. And then the guys are like, you know, the fishing guides, those guys who do who I think does the most damage to the fishing population. Their livelihood depends on them catching fish. And most of their clients, I would assume, want to keep fish. So you can't say that they should release their fish, right? Because if you do that, then you're just kind of like degrading the sport of fishing. And my point is, that's the whole reason for regulations. If you hit a limit, congratulations. That's what I always tell people. That's a nice catch, you know. If you're releasing it, that's fine. Maybe I can catch it one of these days. But if you don't, hey, no problem. But some people have just a real bad attitudes towards people limiting out. And one of those things is I think they just can't catch fish, or they're not as skilled as you as catching fish. And when you limit out and they only have one, maybe a limiting out factor might be, I don't know, say 20 fish. in some locations. And you've just caught 20 fish right in front of this other guy or gal. And they don't like you for that. And all I gotta say to that is, you know what? I just revealed to you my skills. Instead of hating on me, you should have came over and asked me, how did I catch those fish? I mean, you know, some people hate you for that, but I'm the type of person who says, you know what, if you're going to ask me, then it's obviously that you want to learn something from me, so I'll teach you, you know. I'll teach you how to jig it. It's fish. It's there for everybody to take, basically, as long as it's legal. But I have no problems with that. You know, if some people who walk up and say, "What are you using?" It's like during the sand bass runs. Say I'm on a roll that day, and you know, every couple of casts I'm getting one. A lot of times I'll release them, but a lot of people come in and they'll ask, like, "What are you using?" And so I'll show them the swimming minnow. Well, this is a couple years ago. Show them the swimming minnow with a pink head on it. And for some reason that day it's hot. If it's not, I'll switch out to a green or yellow or a black or even all chrome lead. Switch over to the Bobby Garlands, things like that. And to me, it's not a big deal. It's like if you catch a limit, well, if you catch a limit, I expect you to stop fishing. But if you don't, if you catch and release, I really don't care. You can go 2,000 fish that day. It doesn't really matter to me. So that's kind of our take on it. That's kind of my take on it. And yeah, so CNR, CNE. So let me know where you stand on it. Do you do selective harvesting? Do you not? That's the other thing too. If it's one of the silver basses, yeah, we tend to keep a lot of those. If it's a walleye, yeah, if it's legal, I'm keeping it. Those suckers taste good. If it's a largemouth bass, oh, it's going back. It's like, they don't taste good. Just go back. They're fun to fish, but you know they're going back. So that's kind of our take on it. And the tournament anglers really get pissed off at you if you keep one. And my answer to that is, you're in a tournament on a public lake. If the public wants to take the fish, they have every right to. If you can't win that tournament because of that one fish, sorry bro, it's just not your day, or you know, you just didn't do enough homework to catch more fish. If your entire tournament is betting on that one spot, and you get there, because you know tournaments they launch usually around 6:30 to 7, and I'm already there at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, don't get pissed off at me. You know, it's my lake. It's very much, I have the right to be there as much as you do. So if I'm already there first, you know, you should probably leave, or at least if you want me to leave, you should ask me kindly. You know, we're fishing a tournament today. That spot you're in is one of my, you know, spots I'm betting on. If you don't mind, could you move away from the spot for an hour? And I understand, you know, if you got money gambling somewhere, if that's the spot, you ask me nicely. You know, I mean, you come up nicely to my boat, kindly ask me, I will leave. I have no problems with that. I understand the tournament life, and I will leave. I'll move somewhere else. Especially, but you know, if that's my favorite spot too, and if I had a bad day or something the day before, I want to just go fishing. And if I don't want nobody bothering me, then I'm not gonna leave. Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's the type of stuff that people don't understand. And if I decide to keep a bass that day, maybe it's a giant one, say like my personal best, like an 11-pounder. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I mean, you know, that's just what it is. Just gonna keep it, and don't hate me for it, because you have no right to hate me. All right. So, anyways, that's just kind of a little rant. But what do you guys think? Should we always CNE, always CNR, or just go by whoever you are, and you know, don't mess with the other guy? He has every right to do what he wants, and you have every right to do what you want. So, what do you guys? Post all the questions and comments down below, and yeah, we'd like to know what you guys think, because we hear about this crap all the time. Alright guys.